you're going to mention Trafford, aren't you? We're going to use Cooper and Trafford as an example.
I love the way you say Cooper.
Yes, hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm here at the Brotherhood again in Manchester with the con man from One Leeds and deluded Jimmy from Blades Ramble. Did you not go through the comments on the channel? Some of the comments, that Sheffield United fan is deluded, he thinks they're going to win every single game. To be fair to Jimmy, he did concede defeat at the turf pretty easily.
That's wound you up on it, come on.
I'm saying nothing. Right.
We're gonna do something different this week. Obviously, everybody really enjoyed it when we got together the other week and did the debates. Apart from Jimmy, a lot of good comments. What we're going to do differently this time, we're going to do like a few short debates and stuff like that. We're going to all get sort of like different opinions on it. It's good to get a Leeds fan's opinion and a Sheffield United fan's opinion, obviously, when they're battling at the top of the Championship with us. But obviously, as I've said, we're at the Brotherhood. Get down to the Brotherhood. They do the Cocktail Club. It's just off St Peter's Square in Manchester. It's a cracking bar. They're doing any two cocktails for £10. You can get a Porn Star Martini, Espresso Martini, Sex on the Beach. Lads, which one would you go
Well,
for?
I don't think we asked you last week. I think Jim.
Oh, you did? I just said daiquiri. Daiquiri.
Oh, yeah, you
I did
did.
daiquiri. I'm not a cocktail man.
A lot of ales on here. I'll go for a porn star. Why not?
All right. What about your cocktail? Yeah, I'm going to go with a margarita again. I have had a margarita here as well. Very decent. So, yeah, there we go. Cocktail Club.
Get down here. Right, so we're going to do some debates. First one is we're going to talk about James Trafford, because obviously we've got a Sheffield United fan here who backed Michael Cooper. Quite, no, certainly, if as you'd expect, to be fair. But I believe, and we're not even bringing Cooper into it. I'm not even sort of like doing the Trafford sort of like Cooper debate. But what I'm saying here is I believe that James Trafford has the highest ceiling out of any player in the Championship right now.
Out of any player in the Championship?
Out of any player in the Championship. I think he goes on to represent England more than 50, 60, 70 times. I think
60, 70 times?
I think what's he called? Pickford's on his way down now. He'll still be there for the next 2-3 years, admittedly. He'll be there at the next tournament, Will Pickford. After that, Trafford comes in, takes over and stays there for the next 10 years. Barring a massive injury.
Is he second in command now?
No, but you've got Ramsdale and Pope, who also...
So
Pope's quite old now.
Can I just say, Dean Henderson played for Sheffield United in Premier League. He's now playing for Crystal Palace in Premier League. He's a much more established goalkeeper than James Trafford, it's probably fair to say. I'm not saying he's a better goalkeeper. I don't see enough for Trafford to say I have a firm opinion on this either way. But I cannot get on board. Last season, he were a bomb scare.
He was 20.
No, according to all Burnley fans,
he was poor last season.
Included.
He was poor last season.
So you're saying on one good season, which Aaron Ramsdale's had, by the way, in the Premier League for Arsenal, one good season, he would deem to be the next big thing. You're saying one good season in the Championship means he's going to be England's next 60-cap goalkeeper.
It's not just based on that. It's based on the fact that he's already in the England setup. As we speak now, he is literally with the men's team. Yeah. He won the under-21 Euros with a last-minute penalty save.
So did Ryan Brewster.
Yeah, he's in the England setup already. He's already in their thoughts. What did they do with Joe Hart? Not the best example because he didn't go on to have the best England career, but he played there quite a lot. They got someone in young and early, and that's what they'll do when Pickford can't do it anymore. When he retires or isn't good enough to be the number one goalkeeper, they won't bring Ramsdale in.
So does he then move on from Burnley instantly then? Because if he's the highest ceiling,
I think he's moving on. I think he's moving on this summer, regardless of whether we're in the Premier League or not.
So let's say hypothetically, Newcastle come in for him, take him. He's sort of, I guess, first or second in command for England. That means right now he's the highest ceiling in the Championship. That's what you're saying.
I think it goes on, in terms of what he goes on to achieve in his career, I think he achieves more than probably anybody in the Championship right now.
See, that's fair enough.
In my head, that's what highest ceiling means.
Yeah. No, I go with that.
You go on to win more things, achieve more in your career. He'll play for England more than anybody currently in the Championship. Off the top of my head, I can't think of anybody else.
Joe Bellingham?
Good point, yeah, fair enough.
Chris Rigg,
maybe. But them three will be up there, and I think he's going to go on. He's going to achieve a lot of good stuff in his career. Potentially even win titles. I'm ignoring that.
Should I go through your team?
Potentially even win titles. I think he could potentially end up back at City as well, because they've got a buyback clause.
I think maybe a couple that I think Jim makes a good point with
one good season.
I think he makes a good point with Joe Bellingham. I think You look at maybe Willy Gnonto, playing for the Italian under-21s now. I do think he represents Italy. He already has done before. I think he's going to be in their first, team.
He needs to get some minutes.
He's only 21. Willy Gnonto.
To be fair, you forget how young Big Willy is.
Yeah.
He looks 28.
Yeah, Tanaka as well. Played for the Japanese national setup. Could he play for a big? Well, could he
Never
play?
kicked a ball in Premier League.
True. Trafford barely has.
Correct.
Yeah.
Picked it out of there a few times.
I'm going to crack that joke then.
Going to be the predecessor to Pickford, whereas I think Dean Henderson bridges that gap between them. I think
I don't think Henderson's that highly rated at England. Else he'd have got more minutes than what he has already.
I'll probably agree with that.
I think there's one spot and it's Pickford's, and he hasn't really put a foot wrong for England. So
How old is he now?
Henderson.
No,
Pickford. He's in his 30s, isn't he?
Is he?
I think the upcoming tournament
It is interesting.
is
that
his
you
last one.
It is interesting that you're saying the highest ceiling. So I thought you were going to come with the highest ceiling in goalkeepers. It's interesting that you're saying it's a highest ceiling out, just a general player in the Championship.
I think Jim makes a good point with Bellingham and Rigg, to be fair. But Trafford's in the conversation, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. No, he is impressive. I think I guess the interesting thing now is there's still a debate whether or not he's the best keeper in the Championship, which maybe shows that there is decent talent in the Championship, especially in net. You look at not just Cooper, but you look at Victor Janssen as well, who's just outrageous again.
Melier.
Yeah, world class. But yeah, no, I think it's a good conversation to have, to be honest.
And also, obviously, you've got to factor in Trafford's the younger of them three. He's definitely younger than Cooper. I think he's younger than Johansson.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's younger than Johansson.
Yeah.
Johansson's oldest, I think.
Is it? Yeah, well, that makes sense. I thought he was. I just didn't want to commit in case I were wrong. But you've got to remember, Trafford's 21, 22. You've got to factor that in as well. And obviously, you're saying how your point was last week on Cooper, like how assured Cooper is. He's 3-4 years older than Trafford.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bring this to the table, but it's pertinent to what you're saying. Would you rather have a James Trafford in goal that you know you're going to lose imminently almost, or would you rather have somebody slightly under the radar but on a par with him, like a Michael Cooper? Because if we don't go up, there's no guarantee that we automatically sell Michael Cooper. If you don't go up, James Trafford goes to the Premier League.
Yeah.
So
there's bigger hype around him, isn't there?
Which would you rather have? Would you rather have a keeper that's under the radar and not getting as much speculation?
I think I'd rather have the keeper in the spotlight because I think he's in the spotlight for a reason. But it's a good point you make. I think that this again brings it into a different debate that Burnley fans have had a lot of times, is that the board put profits higher than necessarily the team in some instances. What did you sign Cooper for? £2 million? Yeah. And that's a great purchase, and everyone's looking at that thinking that's great money. Everybody already knew he was a good keeper because of what he did at Plymouth.
Everyone knew that.
So everybody knew that he was a good keeper.
Everyone knew of him, didn't they?
Yeah, but yet our club are trying to unearth these gems that they're going to sell for 20, 30, 40 million pounds rather than just making a steady purchase and keeping him in the team. We've had to consistently chop and change our team the last 3 summers, even some January. So it has been hard work, but I think Trafford's getting the spotlight, and I think he's getting it for a reason personally.
It's worked for you though, hasn't it? Because you could sell
to
Trafford for 25 million and go and buy Victor Janssen for 5.
And you can also look at Nick Pope and look at the career he's had as well.
It's worked to an extent. Like I don't necessarily mind it too much. The old saying goes, never fall in love with a loan player. We can't fall in love with a player anymore because he's going to be here for a year and then be sold on.
Yeah.
So that is the problem with it. You never fall in love with the player, but yeah, the board have come in, they do things their own way, and we're selling a lot of players for profits, and so you can't really argue with that. And I don't potentially mind it too much. I just know that some clarets don't particularly like it.
Well, let us know in the comment section below.